Good morning, everybody. Welcome to CertiPay's Coffee Break. This is Coffee Break 16. We're going to talk about employee engagement today. I am your captain, Rachel Camella, and I am here with my co-pilot, Cindy Merkel, from the CertiPay HR team. And as you can see, I am wearing my captain's hat because at this point, I normally would be preparing to go to Burning Man. And since Burning Man is canceled, I've decided to bring a little bit of Burning Man to all of you. So, you have any fun hats, run and get them now and participate. Or not, just enjoy mine, whatever works. All right, so it's fitting that I'm wearing this for employee engagement because it's a little bit of what we're going to bring to the table today. Cindy, you good and ready?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
All right. So why do we want to focus on employee engagement? Well, really, we can go straight to money and say that your business will function better, you will save money, you will generate more money. There's so many pieces about having your employees engaged that really go straight to the bottom line. And at the core of that is retention. Happy employees stay. And if you can prevent employees from leaving, that turnover number is really, really expensive. We know that turnover can be as much as 300% of an individual's salary. So finding ways to minimize your turnover is critical if you're looking at cost savings. And then things that contribute to that, healthy employees. If you do things that improve the health of your employee mentally and physically, they're going to be happier at work, they're going to be more engaged at work, and then they're most likely going to stay. Again, preventing turnover is a very important component here. Productivity. Productivity will increase. So we've seen some statistics from SHRM that show a 33% difference. So when you add an engagement piece where people are focused, they're engaged, they're in it, the productivity levels go up to the tune of 33%. It's a big number. And then when you talk about the dollars, throw that percentage onto your bottom line. Cost savings we talked about because all these components add up. And so whether you're just reducing your turnover numbers, or if you're making employees healthier, then they're not using your health benefit plan, then your renewal costs go down. The cost savings trickle out across your company in so many places just by getting your employees more engaged. So it's a really, really important topic, especially right now. So the challenges that we face about engagement are, your employees are distracted. They are completely distracted. They're worried about health. They're worried about their mom. They're worried about their children, what's happening with schools, what's happening with politics, what's happening with my company. Am I going to have a job? It's an endless number of distractions floating through your employees' mind right now. So be aware that they are distracted. So that's one of our biggest challenges with engagement. Communication is a big piece too, because if people can't communicate with the other people on the team or the other people in their department, or if there's a communication issue with their manager or their direct reports, then they just give up. They say, well, I couldn't even get on that call. It wasn't, and so the engagement drops off fast if there are communication barriers. FaceTime is still really important, even though we've got to create all this social distance and we've got to work within these CDC guidelines and parameters. We have to find ways to create FaceTime. It's human nature. As people, that's one of the things we need. We need to connect to other people. So FaceTime will be an important thing to overcome. Performance, if you help people improve their performance, they're going to be more engaged. If their performance is suffering, engagement might be the cause. It also might be the result. So it's something to focus on because that's why we see that 33% productivity number when employees are engaged. Morale. Again, it's human nature to be engaged with other people. And when you have the connections and you have the engagement, the morale goes up. If people are healthy, the morale goes up. If the energy is positive, the morale goes up. If the morale goes up, people stay. If people stay, you don't have the turnover situation. So it all works together. Now, here's the thing about this list of challenges is this is the list of solutions too. So pretty simple. We know what the problems are. We know how to fix them. So when we talk about your distracted employees, what do we do? Well, first of all, get to know them. Like, do you know that they were planning to go to Burning Man? Do you know that that was an important thing? Do you know about your employees? What's happening in their world? What's happening in their life? This is the easiest piece. If you know your employees, then you know what's going on, and then you can figure out solutions. So make sure you add that EAP that we talked about last week, really important component to help with these distractions, to help with solutions and different things that are happening. Childcare is a huge issue right now. People are very unsure about what is to come in the next few months because is my child's school open? Am I doing remote? How do I manage that? How do I help with the remote school and care for my kids and do my job? And I have one who's going to class, I have to get them there, and I have one who's doing remote. It's endless. So be aware of what the issues are. It will make a big difference. And then you understand that work-life balance. If you understand that work-life balance, you can kind of figure out, okay, what do we need to do? Do we need to shift schedules? Do we need to keep people working remote? Do we need to get people back in the office and create social distance? Figure out how you can add in that work-life balance, because then your employees can get their mind clear because they've got a balance in their life, and then they're going to be more focused when they're with you. How we doing? Good?
Yep, continue.
Okay. So next, communication. Communication is one of our biggest issues when we talk about engagement because we have so many different modes of communication, and then we have technology issues with that. So make sure all of your modes of communication are clear. Make sure people know how to use every different mode. Make sure there are no barriers. If somebody can't get onto the web meeting because there's a technical issue or because there are IT problems, you've got to get those solved and clear, because the second there's a barrier in the communication piece, your employee is going to be out. They will be completely distracted. You're going to lose the engagement piece there. So this is a simple one to just keep all these lines functioning properly. Another big one that I put in the communication slide is the access to information. This is really, really important. If you've got somebody who's working remote or even in the office and they can't get to the information they need to do their job, or they don't have all of the proper tools and information to do their job, they're just going to check out. So make sure that whatever somebody's job description is, they are provided with all of the correct information, tools, communication devices, whatever they need to do their job properly. Make sure it's available to them and make sure they know how to use it. So I talked about FaceTime, and right now, especially with things being so scattered the way they are, we've got half our team working remote and half in the office and all remote, or, you know, we're spread out all over the place. It's important to create time where we are face-to-face. So having face-to-face meetings is still going to be important. And if you're working remotely or your team's remote, figure out how to do that. Create Zoom meetings, create video meetings, create webinars where people are engaged with each other and you can see other people. It adds a layer that is important to the engagement piece, because you all know it, because you've probably done it. You may be doing it right now where you've got this webinar and, you know, this lady is rambling, but you're still checking your emails or you're making some notes about something. It's okay. We know that everybody's busy, but if you turn on the video and everybody can see everybody else and that FaceTime is connected, they're going to be more engaged in the meeting. So add those in if you're remote. If you're in the office setting, create a way that you can have social distance following CDC guidelines and OSHA guidelines, but have meetings where people are face-to-face. And this is an important connection piece for the engagement within your business. So create some social things like a hat contest or some other kind of contest, group goals, projects, anything where there's social interaction where people are working together and you've got that collaboration. Anytime that you've got this social interaction, it improves the engagement piece. So even if you've got departments or groups of people that mostly work independently, it's okay to create things that bring them together because that will improve your engagement. And when employees are engaged, they stay. Create daily check-ins. Again, it doesn't matter if you're all back in the office or some remote or all remote. It doesn't matter. Create connections between people. And if you've got a certain check-in at 10 o'clock or, you have any kind of specific timeline where managers meet with their direct reports or supervisors connect with each other, team members connect, create some daily check-ins so that people are connecting to somebody else at a certain time. And it should be daily. Don't think, well, I just connect with them once a week. It's okay to create some daily check-ins. It can be a 1-minute thing, or it can be everybody connects on a group text chat, some kind of a connection so that you're touching on a daily basis. Lunch meetings are great. Again, creating time where it's so primarily social, and if you've got everybody logs into a video chat at the same time and has lunch together, or if you have everyone together in an office setting, again, creating social distance and following guidelines, but get people together at lunchtime if possible. Think about the parameters that we're dealing with right now, but having some kind of extra interaction is important. Breaks for long meetings. So this is a good one, and this I got from a survey that SHRM did, and they talk about these long meetings, and people just like burn through the meeting. Well, as soon as you hear the same person talking for 60 minutes, you're way checked out. So you have a 45-minute break in between after 45 minutes. So at a 45-minute mark, say, let's all go grab a coffee or let's take a walk and, bathroom break, whatever it is. Throw some breaks into these meetings because we're having a lot of meetings right now. And, when you hear the same person droning on, maybe me, then you need to get everybody up, walk around, change the scenery, and then come back with a fresh mind. This keeps people engaged. Again, that's our goal. All right, how we doing?
Continue.
All right. See, we had to add your voice in there to break it up so that we can get people back engaged.
I don't have a hat on, though.
Shoot. That's okay. I've got extra hats. So I'll let you wear one of mine. All right. So when we talk about performance, again, this is something that really suffers when employees are not engaged, they're not focused, they're less creative, their performance is going to drop, their productivity is going to drop. So it's important to look at these pieces. And so if you have to manage performance in a certain way, educate your supervisors, educate your managers, make sure that managing the performance of the employees is done well. And that, again, if somebody is doing well in their job, in their role, then they're going to be more engaged because they're going to be more excited. They're going to say, wow, I had such a good day. Look what I accomplished. I did all these things. I made all these things, whatever it is. If the employee's performance is improving and doing well, that employee will then be more engaged. So setting clear expectations, create set schedules, a morning check-in like I talked about, video lunches, daily topics. And this is remote or in office. This is the same kind of things that you can do. Don't cancel your one-on-ones. This will immediately disconnect your employee. If you've got a one-on-one and you cancel it, the message to your employee is that you don't matter, you're not important to me, I have something else to do. So no matter what it takes, if you've got a one-on-one scheduled with somebody on your team, you've got to meet that in whatever way that means. Do not cancel those because the message is devastating. And even though that's probably not the message you mean, that's the message that gets through. Provide several communication options. That whole screen on communication, look at every single piece of that. How can you add all of those different pieces in. In one of our future coffee breaks, we're going to talk about the different generations in the workplace. And when the huge group of our workplace, to the tune of 75 million people, is millennials, they will need multiple different levels of communication to do the best job possible. So think about that when you're looking at overall performance. Is what are the different layers of communication we can add to this mix? The more, the better, and that will help with the performance. Focus on goals, not necessarily the overall work, but break it down. Say, okay, here's what we're going to do this week. Here's what we're going to do over the course of a month. Here's what we're going to do over the course of the next 3 months, the next year, whatever. But focus on goals. And when people accomplish those goals, it's a morale boost. And then they feel better in their job. And then they're more engaged. And then they stay. All right. Morale. So one of my favorites, encourage creativity. If you want to get people engaged, ask them questions, ask for feedback, ask them, how would you improve this? How would you change this? What are your thoughts about this X project that we're working on? If you ask your employees for their opinion and encourage them to add their view, encourage feedback, encourage information like that, then the morale goes up. They feel like they're part of it. They feel like they're part of the company's success. So adding these pieces is very important. And also recognizing the employees for those kinds of ideas, rewarding employees for doing a good job. These are big morale boosts. So important to think about, especially right now when there's so many things that are a challenge. You know, it's really good to have things, even if they're small accomplishments, it's still important to recognize those, maybe even reward those, depending on how that fits in with your culture. Promote health and well-being, exchanging healthy recipes, having a shake like a protein shake boost in the morning, or having everybody together in a video meeting where you're sharing your protein shake recipe or whatnot, at a yoga class if possible, or do 10 at 10 push-ups at 10 a.m., something like that. Anything that you add where you're connecting people, but you're adding a piece of health to it. Again, healthy people feel better. Healthy people will be more engaged. Healthy people have higher morale. So any place that you can add a boost to health is a good thing. Encourage collaboration. When people work together, they get to know each other better. The engagement goes up right away. As soon as you've got people working together on a project, or if you assign mentors, or anything where you can get people working together, then you will see a boost in morale. And of course, in turn, people are going to stay because they're connected, they're engaged. Diversity and inclusion is a fantastic morale boost at a company. There are a lot of studies that show businesses that have a high mix of diversity and inclusion have higher profitability, because what happens is you get all these different types of people from many different cultures and many different ways of thinking, and then you get so much creativity, you get so many different ideas, so many different sets of eyes looking at a possible issue and problem, and those are so many different solutions to those issues. So when you add diversity and inclusion and information about how to do that, messaging about that, you will help boost the morale, and then in turn, your engagement, and then in turn, your productivity, and then in turn, people will stay. So all these things are good. Finally, don't be afraid to add some things to your workspace, either in the employees' homes if they're working remotely, or in your office space. We have so much technology and computers and equipment. Throw in some nature. Add some plants. They will help clean the air. They will help people feel better. Plants are a huge boost to morale. Even add a salt lamp. A salt lamp can really balance out some of those negative ions in the air that we get blasted from our computer all the time. So one of those things that really can help people feel better. And then in turn, morale goes up, engagement goes up, and people stay. And that's the goal. So final thoughts, pay attention to your employees, get to know them, know what's going on in their lives, how you can maybe help with some solutions. Educate your senior leaders and managers. If they have more information about all of these pieces, about how to manage properly and how to manage the productivity, how to work with the engagement, adding health pieces where you can, educating about diversity and inclusion, these are all going to make a big difference for the engagement. And be transparent. If you're honest and open with your employees, they're really going to feel connected to you. They're going to trust you. They're going to feel like you have their back and you're looking out for their best interests. So be transparent as much as you can. I hope this was helpful. Do we have any questions today?
I do not have any questions.
All right, guys, as always, we are so happy that you're joining us for these coffee breaks every Thursday. Next week's coffee break is going to be hidden cost savings. So we're going to talk about any place that you can save on tax credits from the CARES Act or FSCRA and some other hidden cost savings. So next week, we're going to talk about some money savings that you might not be aware of and answer any questions that you might have about some of the tax credits. So thank you for joining us. I hope this helps and you get a completely engaged workforce that will help you during these times. CertaPay is so thankful to have you here with us, and we appreciate you and we appreciate your business. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Can I ask you a question? Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
This is Angie. I'm sorry. We had one question about what's the best way to get employees to open up about their concerns about being back in the office with COVID? If you have a pleaser or an obliger person who, when you ask them their feelings and they've already shown some kind of concern about people maybe coming into their office without wearing a mask or invading their space, but yet they hesitate to talk about it to their manager, and they'll say, oh, but it's fine, it's okay. But you kind of know it's really not.
Yeah. Well, the best way to address that, and this is such a great discussion to have, the best way to address that is to create policies in place that really set the parameters. So if everybody knows within the office, the expectation is that you wear a mask when you're moving about, and the only time you don't have it on is when you're at your own desk. And then really post that, acknowledge that, ask everybody to follow that. And then if the senior leaders see something like that happening, then you step in and correct the person. Don't leave it up to the individual who's uncomfortable to do it. You know, step in and say, hey, don't forget, we want masks on when you're in the hallway or walking around. And just, you know, keep the reminder, keep going with that and say, listen, we're following CDC guidelines here. We want everyone to be safe and feel comfortable. And so do it. If it's not for you, do it for the other people.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Does that help?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, just set up the perimeters, set up the policies, and then, you know, keep following them.
Maria, I can answer your question. All the presentations are on our website. If you go to the home page, all the way to the right, it'll say news. If you drop that down at the very bottom, it should say coffee breaks. And I think we're pretty close. We might be 1 or 2 behind, but we will get that updated in the next day or 2.
Yeah, excellent. All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah. Is that it, Cindy?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You guys are awesome. Everybody have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye-bye.